Hi, welcome to what I think is our third edition of Constituent Mailbag, a program in which I try to answer commonly asked questions of our office and make our answer more broadly available to people. Today I want to talk about one about which we've received more messages, more phone calls, more emails, more letters than just about anything else for the last year, and that is the forced separation of families among those who are seeking asylum in the United States. We've actually received more than 600 letters and phone calls on this, which is very high. And they come from all over the district. Every community from Rainier to Edgewood and everybody in between. Obviously, this has touched a deep nerve among the American public. And the reason for that, frankly, I think is because the American public sees this the way I do, or rather I see it the way they do. This practice is wrong. It's just wrong. It's cruel. It's inhumane. It's not necessary whatsoever. I want to tell you a story that informs in part my view of this. There was a child born named Marianina Sacco in Calabria, Italy, southern Italy, into a rock hovel with dirt floors, and the chickens were on the inside. And when she was 7 years old, her mother and her younger sister, Laurita, migrated to the United States, where they entered the port of Boston. They were immediately separated, the children, Marianina and Laurita, from their mother for reasons that they did not understand. They turned out to be health related. There was a concern, I think, that they had whooping cough, but I'm not sure on that point. And they were kept in isolation for 2 weeks and had no one with whom they could speak their language, and they were frankly terrified that they would never see either their mother or their father, who later joined them, ever again. Now, Marianina grew up and married another Italian boy, and they raised 4 children. She and her husband built a very successful business, and each of their 4 children went on to considerable success, each in their own right. 2 CPAs, a businessman, and a successful educator. Marianina, who became known as Marian, didn't talk much. In fact, in a good day, 10 words maybe. But on occasion, she would talk about that experience of being separated from her mother and father and not knowing if she would ever see them again. This strong woman who built a successful business with an American success story of a family forever remembered that because it was seared into her heart. Now, the point of that story is twofold. First, that it does affect children throughout their life, no matter how strong they are, like Marian was. And the second part of that story is she is a classic example of the American success story, migrants making America better. And this is a story which I know fairly well because one of those 4 children who was the successful educator is my wife, Paula. This is the story of us, and this is the story of taking migrant families in to make America even stronger. So there are 3 things coming out of this week's events and the last couple of weeks that I think are important to know. The first of which is your calls and letters matter. President Trump did, in fact, sign the executive order stopping the continuation of this policy. That is the separation of babies and children from their mothers. The second of which is it's equally important that we double down and make sure that the some 2,300 children who have been separated from their parents find a way to be reunited. In some instances, they're being flown to separate states. In many instances, we can't get any information about where they are. And in most instances, the parents seem to have no idea where their children have gone. That can't stand. We need to reunite these families. And the other thing that comes out of this is that we need to fix our broken immigration system. I will continue to extend efforts toward that regard. I will continue to do what I can to make sure that the families are reunited, which is why I co-sponsored the Keep Families Together legislation, which I hope Congress will take up. But that's only dealing with the short-term issue. Our immigration system is broken. It needs to be fixed, and I pledge my efforts in that regard. So for all of you who wrote or called, thanks so very, very much. Your calls and letters do make a difference. Thank you.